Hey, welcome to the UXUI 2377. My name is Dan Dow. I'll be your instructor for this course with it. Before we get into Figma, and I'm going to give you a big picture overview of what we're trying to do for this course with it, and I kind of lay some things on this document for us to take a look at as talking points to it. Bear with me in this first few minutes so I can explain where we're going with this. And as we go through here, I want you to, it's very engaging. So, have a screen that's on video, and then you can actually toggle back and forth on what we're talking about with it as well. Okay. Anyways, let's get started. So we're going to build out a mobile application. It's for a boba tea. It's a fictional store that we're building. Basically, it's going to be somebody's going to order using the mobile app. They order the mobile tea, whether it gets delivered or get order, Uber Eat, or whatever it is that we're doing. But they get they get to go in and choose the flavor and e-commerce website with it, and it's a deliverable that the client, which is the customer, uses to order the food. That's all it is with it. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go through with you. I'm going to provide you. I have already built the asset files for a lot of the stuff with it. So I'm going to walk through a lot of the stuff with you. And I want to upload this file. It's compressed. You will need to extract it and put in your work folder in your local drive with it as well. So most of the stuff that we're talking about is going to be a basic Figma tool with it. I can't assume everybody's going to be using Figma, but there are advantages for using Figma I'm going to talk to you about with it as well. So Adobe XD is the other tool that we use with it, but I'm going to use Figma for the purposes. That's industry is using a lot more Figma than XD right now, according to our advisory board this last year with it. So the boba tea ordering experience that the client's going to be ordering, I've broke it down to 4 bullet points here. So it's going to be the login and sign up workflow. The second one is the shopping workflow, the checking out workflow, and the profile workflow. So each one of these fragments that it's going to be, they're broken down to layout with it. So we're going to talk about each of the video. Each one of these bullets will be a separate login videos with it as well. Okay, so they're individual 4 separate videos that we take a look at. So 4 separate units. Login is 1 separate video. Shopping workflow is 1 separate video. Checkout workflow is 1 separate video. Profile workflow, these are 4 separate workflows with it. So I believe that we need to be working hands-on with it. So I'm not much of a talking head. I do, you do, that type of stuff with it. So pause the video if you need to slow things down to it and redo the part that, and these are building blocks, by the way. So part A builds to part B, C, and so on. And by the time you get to part L and K, they all build from part A, B, and C that you have built already. So please work in sequence is my point with it as well. So the best way to learn a new tool is to take the bull by the horn. Just get into it and just do it with it. So follow along if you can, if you could for me, okay? We're going to learn doing by design with it. So So one of the things when you get in here, you can be learning Figma, and Figma is going to be It's a great tool that it's more about the workflow of things with it, and your building is a prototype. Again, this is an actual prototype. You're not programming an app. You're not building an app. These are for the engineering guys and the programmers that do it. But our end is to build using the Figma tool to actually build this right now with it. So one of the things we're going to talk about is we're going to build a component library. The component library, we're going to create and use that to build in each of the components from the field, from the buttons. That's the component library. After you do all that stuff, one of the beauties about Figma is that you can actually share your files on the cloud. So if you're working in teams, you can actually, everybody's looking at the same file on your team with it. So there's no need to know too much about file structure and where things are stored. Everything's in the cloud right now with it as well. So I really like Figma with that aspect with it. Okay. And then I'm going to add in how to invite others and collaboration with it. And we're going to actually export UX, and we're going to look at some of those code attributes with engineering, the programming guys. There's some Figma shortcuts we're going to talk about. We're going to look at some of the plugins and the GUI kits, and I'm going to talk to you about comments with it as well. So I'm going to give you the last couple of final touch on it as well. Okay. So let me resume on continuing on from our previous with it. So why am I choosing Figma? For one, it's an industry tool that we use on industry now for most designers with it. So it'd be really good that you need to be proficient on this. So the first 15-20 minutes of this video will probably be on what the big picture and Figma introduction with it. One of the things I want to talk to you about is that it's a cloud-based file storage, which means that everything that you do is through a browser, and you're going to save, it's going to auto-save the files with it, right? There's no need for file management on the cloud base with it. And the third thing is that can access the files from any computer via the internet with it. So if you have a web browser, you're able to actually come in and basically access the files with it as well. Another point is it views in multiple mouses for real-time collaboration, so multiple people can access the same file or the same project that you're working on with it. So it's easy to collaborate with other teammates that you have with it. It's easy for engineering programmers and project managers to use when they start to sit down and they actually code and design this thing with it. Engineers and programmers can inspect designs by copying the CSS, which is the Casio style sheets, code attributes to design your app with it as well. This is all you're doing is developing a prototype. That's all you're doing with it right now. So you're developing a prototyping tool. Prototyping tool lives in the tool. So this is the actual app that you're demoing with it as well. This is a pitch that you're doing. Easy to share, prototype with clickable. So you will see it's on an actual mobile device that you would actually navigate through the process with it. Easy to create the components and the components instance with it, meaning you actually drag and drop the radio buttons, the checkbox, the fields, anything you can do, you can drag and drop it over with it. Makes it really easy with it. It's easy to create the style guides, color and character styles, the fonts. We can always do that. It's easy to drop comments in the context of the design, and the endless art boards that you can actually insert in as the icons and graphics and the layers of the page with it. And I want to talk to you a lot about lots of the plugins that you can use to make the design a lot faster with it as well. Okay, so it's approaching 10 minutes. I'm going to stop right here. And end this first part of video of the module 1. Okay.